candid conversations on what it means to live a bold-hearted life in every area of your life. Today's topic is why desire isn't enough and what is. So I remember I was working with a coach a few years ago now and had invested quite a bit to work with her and had bought into the idea that I needed to do all these, 3-5 day challenges and just show up all the time. And that was going to make the difference in my business. And I remember it was maybe, I don't know, our second month perhaps of working together. And I had done all these challenges and I had been showing up consistently, like all the time, nonstop. And she told me on one of our calls, I just don't think you want it enough. And I was taken aback because all my actions proved otherwise, including, of course, the investment I made to work with her. And it really started to, that little seed began to make me doubt myself and question. And obviously that energy is not the energy of attraction. And it really helped me in a way because it helped me go deeper. And I remember listening later to part of a sermon, and the pastor was talking about why desire isn't enough. And it really hit me because, especially in the entrepreneur world, especially in the online world, it's all about what do you want and what are you willing to do to get it. And there's a lot of shaming around, if you don't do everything, you must not just want it. And that puts people into this place like me where you start to question and doubt, which then, of course, derails all of your intentions of putting yourself out there and helping people in a bigger way. So this pastor talked about how, of course, desire is fickle. It'll fade. Sometimes you'll have greater desire and sometimes you won't. And if you want to really do something big and have it be sustainable, you can't count on desire to fuel you, despite what everyone tells you. And what can fuel you is connecting deeper to your purpose. So when I did this, when I went deeper into my purpose and really discovered, went back and dug into my story to really understand better, my path and my gifts and my calling, and I really began to see that, I was designed to help women who were silently suffering with self-doubt and help guide them into thriving in their divine calling with confidence and conviction. When I started to see that, it was no longer this thing that was about having to show up and having to look a certain way and having to earn a certain amount of money and have to have a certain number of sales. It wasn't about fame and fortune anymore. It was about knowing this was my calling and this was how I'm designed to serve. And with that comes a deeper level of discipline than desire can ever give you. Because with that, then you're willing to show up. And for me, what happened was showing up became much more fun and easy. There was less pressure. There was no convincing, no proving. It was knowing this is what I'm meant to do and how can I not show up? And being able to do that and to share my story, then clients, the right clients, began to see themselves in my story because it was also their story. And they began reaching out to me. So I was being seen in a much different way. And that type of being seen is much more sustainable because you are doing something for someone and something way beyond you. It's not about you looking good and having to prove yourself and keep up with everyone else or whatever it might be that's happening, all this competition. It's really about knowing you are serving a greater purpose. And that is much more powerful than desire. And that is what will give you the discipline to show up. So if you are wrestling with showing up and frustrated that you've done all these things and maybe even wondering if you wanted enough and really do crave being seen in a different way and being sought out by your clients, I encourage you to join me on an upcoming visibility immersion where you will learn how to use your story to attract clients, how to really tune into your greater purpose in all of this so that you have that discipline to show up in a way that's authentic and real and connects with your clients and has them coming to you. At the same time, you'll be building your visibility platform based on your unique personality, your gifts, your desires, your values, and really understanding what are the steps you need to take and how having that purpose alignment is what will give you the discipline to keep showing up, even when desire fades, because it will. And that is something that, really is going to change how you operate, how you are seen, and how you are being in your business, so that you really are serving from a greater purpose and you're serving your clients in a much more wholehearted way and bold-hearted way. So I encourage you to reach out. I'll put a link in the comments, and I want to share an interpretation. There's a scripture that really relates to this, and I'm going to change a little bit of the words because it really calls out what we're doing here. So this is from John 6:27. And so really what this is about is reminding us to not labor for that which perishes. Fame, fortune, it perishes. Food, being recognition, all that stuff fades. But instead, labor for that which endures to everlasting life. And what that means is labor for what you are called to be, and labor to do that work, your calling, to glorify God, because that's your purpose, is to use your spiritual gifts, use your unique personality, use your path and your story in such a way that you are shining so brightly that God is glorified. And that's worth laboring. That's worth the discipline. And that's way bigger than desire. And that's going to fuel you, because what will shift is you will feel the difference between being driven and having to do it and having to prove and having to convince, which is unsustainable and leads to burnout and questioning and self-doubt, and being called, where this is something way bigger than you, and you can't do this without God, and you wouldn't want to do it without God. And what He has for you was way greater than what you could ever even imagine. And that's exciting, because you might start to receive these insights and know like there's no way you could do that. But with God, of course you can do that. And of course you received the insight because that's what He's calling you to do. So I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to see you in the Visibility Immersion coming up on May 3rd. And of course, reach out with any questions, any ahas. I would love to hear in the comments. And I hope to see you again on our next Bold Heart Awakening next week. Thank you for being here. Talk to you soon.